I gotta count those dogs.
Look at the alien invasion, y'all.
There's no alien invasion.
Yes, it is an alien invasion. What is it? Look at them. They moving in circles at the top. See, the formation on the right, and then they got another formation in the middle, and another formation on the left.
My bright's on, babe.
No. Dude, that's a UFO.
In my headphones, I could hear it.
Oh my God!
Speed up.
Look.
Speed up.
Dude, that's a UFO.
Coming down so low.
The UFO phenomenon has intrigued humans for decades, sparking debates, curiosity, and even conspiracy theories. From the earliest sightings of strange objects in the sky to more recent claims of alien encounters and government cover-ups, the stories have only multiplied. However, what if some of these stories, instead of fading into the realm of myth and speculation, had tangible evidence? What if UFO crashes continued to happen, only to be quickly hidden from the public eye by the mysterious Men in Black, MIB? A fascinating case from May 14, 2008, near Needles, California, offers a compelling example of such an event. On May 14, 2008, an object with an unusual bluish-green hue was reported crashing near Needles, California, a small town on the border between California and Arizona. According to multiple eyewitness accounts, the object fell from the sky and crashed into the Colorado River area, sparking immediate reactions from both local residents and the military. People in the tri-state area of California, Nevada, and Arizona reported seeing the UFO blaze across the sky, its bright glowing trail lighting up the night. One of the witnesses, Frank Costigan, a former airport security chief, recalled the event vividly. He had been awake around 3 a.m. when he saw the object flying across the sky. Costigan, having experience with aircraft as part of his job, immediately recognized that the object was not a typical plane or meteor. It flew erratically, slowing down and speeding up at strange intervals before disappearing behind a hill. He waited for a crash noise but heard nothing. The object had vanished without a sound, leaving only questions behind. What happened next is where the story takes a strange turn. Just 17 minutes after the object's crash, military helicopters arrived at the site, according to multiple witnesses. The helicopters were described as large, black, and seemingly military in nature, appearing from out of nowhere and immediately securing the area. Several people in the region, including David Hayes, the owner of a local radio station, and a resident known only as Bob on the River, who lived on a houseboat near the Colorado River, reported seeing the helicopters. Bob, who was one of the first to witness the crash from his houseboat, described the object as being the size of a semi-truck and glowing when it hit the ground. He noted that the crash was not explosive, but rather it emitted a soft thump. He then saw at least 5 helicopters, including a large sky crane, arrive shortly after the crash, quickly moving in formation and lifting the still glowing object away from the site. Bob believed the object was being flown northward, possibly to a location near Las Vegas. The fact that military helicopters had arrived so quickly, only 17 minutes after the crash, raised numerous questions. Why was the military so swift to respond? What did they know that the public didn't? What exactly had crashed near Needles, California? The mystery deepened as reports began to emerge that men, possibly from the government, had started to appear in the area soon after the crash. These men, who were described as being very serious in nature, wore no uniforms but acted with clear military precision. Their presence was unsettling enough to make witnesses feel as if they were being watched. In fact, one of the men, a local radio station employee named Hayes, reported being followed by one of these men in a black vehicle. The sense of surveillance was overwhelming. One of the key aspects of this event that pointed to a cover-up was the lack of any official reports or acknowledgement of the incident by any federal, state, or local agencies. The people who investigated the event reached out to multiple organizations, including the Laughlin Airport, the FAA, and several military bases, including Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, only to be met with a series of denials or non-responses. The records and requests they filed turned up nothing that could explain the presence of military personnel or the helicopters in the area at the time of the crash. Despite this, a strange transponder reading from the morning of May 14th was obtained, confirming that at least one military helicopter had been in the area around the time of the crash. This was a small but significant clue that something unusual had indeed taken place. The helicopter's transponder was listed as belonging to a U.S. military base located in Europe, raising further questions about why it was operating over the Colorado River region. Moreover, a detachment of the Night Stalkers, a special ops group, was found to be operating out of the Henderson Airport during the same time frame. This unit is known for its secrecy and its involvement in covert operations, making its presence near Needles even more suspicious. Were they involved in the aftermath of the crash? And if so, why the secrecy? Despite numerous investigations, no one seems to know anything concrete about the crash or the military's involvement. Local authorities, including police and government agencies, have shown no knowledge of the incident. Even the Laughlin Airport, which is known for flying personnel to the secretive Area 51, had no information regarding unusual aircraft activity that night. The failure of these organizations to acknowledge the event has led to widespread speculation that the crash and subsequent cover-up were part of a larger, more secretive operation to hide the truth about UFOs and extraterrestrial contact. The people who saw the object, including those on the river and in the surrounding areas, have all confirmed that something crashed that night. However, their stories diverge in key details. Some describe the object as being green or glowing, while others describe it as having a strange metallic sheen. What was certain, though, was that it was no ordinary plane or meteor. It was something foreign, something that didn't belong to Earth. The most perplexing aspect of this incident is the apparent involvement of the men in black. These shadowy figures, often associated with UFO sightings and government cover-ups, have been a recurring theme in alien conspiracy theories for decades. The men in black are typically described as mysterious government agents who appear after UFO sightings to intimidate witnesses into silence, often erasing any evidence of the incident. Witnesses to the Needles UFO crash reported strange encounters with these individuals, who seemed to operate with government authority. These men were said to be calm, methodical, and persistent in their questioning. They made it clear to witnesses that they were not to speak about the crash, and in some cases, witnesses reported being intimidated or threatened. The fact that these individuals were not in uniform but still operated with such authority only added to their mystique. Could these be the same men in black that have been implicated in other UFO cover-ups throughout history? It's impossible to say for sure, but the pattern is certainly striking. The presence of these individuals suggests that the government was involved in hiding the true nature of the crash, just as they have done with other UFO sightings in the past. In the months following the crash, the people who were involved in the investigation began to notice that things had gone strangely quiet. The man known as Bob on the river could not be found, despite his initial willingness to speak to the press. His disappearance was as mysterious as the crash itself. It's as if he had been erased from the story entirely. As the investigation continued, it became clear that this was not just a random incident. Something significant had happened near Needles, and the military had been quick to respond in a way that suggested they knew exactly what they were dealing with. The cover-up seemed to go all the way to the top, with agencies like the FAA, the National Weather Service, and even local police seeming to know nothing about the event. This raises the question, what exactly was hidden in California that day? Was it a UFO, as many witnesses believe? Or was it something else entirely? Perhaps a military craft using technology that was far beyond anything publicly known. Whatever the answer, it's clear that the truth has been buried by those in power, just as it has been with countless other UFO incidents throughout history. The UFO crash near Needles, California, is just one of many incidents that suggest a much larger, far-reaching conspiracy involving the military, government agencies, and extraterrestrial technology. Despite the overwhelming evidence that something crashed that day, The public is no closer to understanding the truth than they were when the event first occurred. Now, let's take a look at another fascinating UFO sighting over the skies of New York from 2020. The image in question shows a craft that looks unlike anything we're used to seeing in our skies. It's a dark, irregularly shaped object, hovering high above the cityscape. But what really grabs your attention is the glow. Bright blue lights radiate from it, forming an almost hypnotic visual effect. The craft doesn't seem to have the usual flashing red or white lights you'd find on an airplane, nor does it resemble any known type of drone or helicopter. Now, if you focus on the details, you'll notice how the blue light creates a soft halo effect in the sky around it. It almost looks like the light itself is interacting with the atmosphere, creating a bluish tint that surrounds the craft. That's not something you typically see with normal aircraft, where lights are clear and directional. This halo effect adds an almost eerie quality to the scene, like the craft is producing some kind of energy field that affects the air around it. There's no visible propulsion system either. No rotor blades. No jet exhaust. Nothing to explain how it's staying in the air. It just hovers silently. To the left of the frame, you can see a tall building, its silhouette dark against the dim evening sky. The building helps provide scale for the UFO, and it's clear that this object is quite large. The top of the building is shrouded in what appears to be fog or low cloud cover, which only adds to the mysterious atmosphere. The contrast between the glowing UFO and the quiet, shadowy city below creates a powerful visual, like something straight out of a sci-fi film, except this is happening over one of the busiest cities in the world. The sighting itself sparked a lot of discussion back in 2020. Those who saw the object described it as moving slowly and silently, gliding through the sky in a way that didn't match any kind of traditional aircraft. There were no engine sounds, no flashing lights, just that steady blue glow and the silent motion that made it seem almost otherworldly. Witnesses reported feeling a mix of amazement and confusion as they tried to process what they were looking at. Was it a high-tech military drone, an experimental aircraft, or something not from this world? Nobody could say for sure. Now, let's talk about why UFO sightings have become so common over the years. It's not just a recent phenomenon. People have been reporting strange objects in the sky for centuries. But in the last few decades, especially with the rise of technology and the internet, we're hearing about these stories more often. Everyone now has a phone in their pocket, capable of recording video or snapping photos at a moment's notice. Because of this, sightings that would have gone unnoticed or been dismissed as a trick of the eye are now getting documented and shared with the world in seconds. But here's the interesting part. Why do so many people believe that we aren't alone? Why is the idea of extraterrestrial life so convincing to so many? I think part of it comes down to the sheer scale of the universe. Think about it for a second. There are trillions of galaxies out there, each with billions of stars and countless planets orbiting those stars. Statistically speaking, it's hard to imagine we're the only intelligent beings in the entire universe. Even scientists like Carl Sagan and Stephen Hawking have pointed out that the chances of other life forms existing are pretty high when you consider the size of the cosmos. Now, when we see something unusual in the sky, something that doesn't look like a plane, a drone, or a satellite, it's only natural to wonder if it might be evidence of that other life. And let's be honest, UFO sightings have a mystery about them that captures our imagination. They tap into our curiosity and our desire to explore the unknown. Some people think of UFOs as potential proof of visitors from other planets, while others consider them advanced human technology that's being hidden from the public. Either way, the idea that we don't know what these objects are makes them endlessly fascinating. So, what about governments? Why do so many people believe there's a cover-up happening? Let's look at history for a moment. In the 1940s and 1950s, during the early years of the Cold War, reports of UFOs started to increase dramatically. People were seeing flying objects that didn't look like anything they'd seen before. The most famous case was the Roswell incident in 1947. According to reports, a flying disc crashed in New Mexico, and military officials quickly arrived at the scene. At first, the U.S. Army issued a press release saying they had recovered a UFO, but the story was retracted almost immediately. Instead, they claimed it was just a weather balloon. That sudden change in the story fueled decades of conspiracy theories. Why would the government announce something so shocking, only to backtrack so quickly? Ever since then, people have believed that the government, whether it's the military, NASA, or other agencies, has been covering up evidence of UFOs. There's this idea that governments know far more about extraterrestrial life and advanced technology than they're willing to admit. And honestly, the secrecy that surrounds certain projects doesn't help. For example, the military has long been known to develop classified aircraft that look unusual to the average person. Take the SR-71 Blackbird or the stealth bombers as examples. Before these planes were officially revealed, people reported seeing strange, fast-moving objects in the sky. What they were actually seeing were prototypes of these advanced jets. Now, think about that for a second. If those aircraft were being developed decades ago, what kind of technology could governments or the military be working on today? That's what many people wonder when they see UFOs. Could these sightings be evidence of secret technology? Or is it something else, something beyond our understanding? The lack of clear answers leaves room for all kinds of theories. Let's not forget NASA either. NASA has been exploring space for decades, sending probes, rovers, and satellites across our solar system. But there are people who believe that NASA doesn't always tell the full story. Some of this suspicion comes from the fact that NASA controls so much of the imagery we see from space. For example, when the Mars rovers send back pictures of the Martian surface, NASA decides which images to release to the public. The same goes for satellite images of the Moon or other planets. This level of control has led some people to believe that NASA could be hiding evidence of extraterrestrial life or structures. Now, is that true? It's impossible to say. But it shows how much people distrust institutions when it comes to UFOs and space exploration. And then there's the modern angle, social media and whistleblowers. In recent years, several high-ranking military officials and former government employees have come forward to talk about UFOs. One of the most famous examples is the 2017 New York Times report that revealed the existence of a secret Pentagon program called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP. This program was set up to investigate reports of unidentified flying objects, many of which were captured on video by U.S. Navy pilots. The videos, which the Pentagon later confirmed as real, showed objects moving in ways that defy our current understanding of physics. They accelerated rapidly, changed direction suddenly, and appeared to have no visible means of propulsion. These revelations changed the conversation about UFOs. Suddenly, the term UFO wasn't just for conspiracy theorists. It became a subject of serious discussion. The government even adopted a new term for these sightings, UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomena. The reason for this shift in terminology was to make the topic sound more scientific and less sensational. But no matter what you call them, these objects remain unexplained. For many people, this acknowledgement from the government was proof that something is going on, even if we don't know exactly what. Now, here's the thing about UFOs. They make us question what we know about the world and our place in it. If these objects are extraterrestrial in origin, that would mean we're not alone, that advanced civilizations exist somewhere out there, and they have the ability to travel vast distances to visit us. That idea is exciting, but it's also a little unsettling. If these civilizations are so advanced, what do they want? Why are they here? Are they observing us, or are they simply passing through? These are the kinds of questions that keep people up at night. But even if the UFOs aren't extraterrestrial, the mystery remains. If they're advanced military technology, who's developing it? Is it the US, or is it another country? And if so, what does that mean for the future of warfare and technology? Either way, UFOs represent something unknown, and humans have always been both fascinated and fearful of the unknown. Another reason people believe we're not alone comes from the rapid advancements in science and technology. Over the past few decades, scientists have discovered thousands of exoplanets, planets orbiting other stars, many of which lie in the habitable zone where conditions could support life. Astronomers are also picking up mysterious signals from space, known as fast radio bursts, which some speculate could be signs of intelligent life. While scientists caution that these signals are probably natural in origin, the possibility of alien contact keeps the conversation alive. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think. Are we alone, or is there more to these UFO sightings than meets the eye? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into the mysteries of our world.